Hi there everybody, and today I'll be showing you how to transform this ordinary black and white image into a black and white fine art masterpiece. I'll be going over it step by step in Lightroom, and the first thing we're going to do is reduce the highlights to about there and increase the shadows slightly. I'm gonna increase the whites. Hold down the Alt key on your keyboard on the Windows and move the slider until you see clippings of the whites. Do the same for the blacks. Reduce it until you see the blacks clippings, and there you should be okay. Next, I'm gonna increase slightly the texture and a bit of clarity, a bit of dehaze, and I'm gonna increase the sharpening up to around 40. Should be okay. Next, I'm gonna hold down the Alt key again and move the masking all the way up until you don't see any noise, and that way we only get sharpening on the whites where it's showing whites, which is mostly on the rocks. Next thing we're gonna do is use some masking now. Go over to the masking tool and we start off with a linear gradient. I'm gonna place it over the sky. Hold down the up arrow on your keyboard to keep it straight and move it over the sky to around there. And I'm going to reduce the exposure. Should be okay. I'm going to create another mask. I'm going to use another linear gradient again for the sky, but I'm not going to go down all the way, just for the top part, and again reduce the exposure. Next, I'm going to do another linear gradient, but now for the foreground. Our aim, like I say in previous videos, is to draw the viewer's eye to the brightest part of the image. And I'm going to reduce slightly the exposure. Should be okay. Next, I'm going to use another mask, but now I'll be using a radial gradient. The radial gradient, I'm going to place it around here above the horizon line. Move it to the middle, open it up a bit, and I'm going to increase slightly the exposure. Should be okay. And next, I'm going to use another radial gradient, but now I'm going to use it for the sea. You get amazing results with this radial gradient. And place it over this part of the sea. And increase the exposure. Should be okay. I'm going to use another radial gradient for the upper part of the sea. Somewhere there. And increase the exposure again. Ever so slightly, not too much, because if you overdo it, it's not going to give you that natural look. Should be okay like this. And next we'll be using another mask, but I'll be using the brush. And here we'll be doing some dodging and burning. Make sure your feather is all the way up to 100. You have a flow 100 as well, and the density is 100 also. I'm gonna go and increase the brush size by opening the bracket keys, and I'm gonna brush where I think the light will be hitting on the rocks. Over here as well. Over here. Somewhere there. And over here as well. You can decrease the brush by closing the bracket keys. If you go overboard like I've done here onto the sea, all you need to do is use the subtraction and just erase where you went overboard. I'm going to erase between these two parts. And that should be okay. And here I'm going to increase the exposure. Don't overdo, as you can see, this gives you this weird looking. Ever so slightly, some subtle moves. Not too much. Dial it down a bit more. I always find the best setting is around below 60. Should be okay. I'm going to use another brush, and we're going to do some burning. I'm going to do it over here where I think it's going to be darker. Over here also. Down here. Here as well. And I'm gonna, wherever they want, decrease the exposure. And there you have your dodge and burn. Now for the last thing, I'm gonna use another radial gradient, and I'll be creating a vignette. Place it in the middle of the image, center it. I always use a radial gradient for my vignettes. It looks more natural looking like this. Sorry. And now I'm going to invert the vignette. And I'm going to slightly decrease the exposure. And I think that should be okay. One more thing, I'm going to go down to the curves. And I'm going to slightly increase the whites. And there we have our final image. I'm going to show you the edited image, which I done before. Didn't come exactly, but you know, you're on the right path to get your adjustments how you want them. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to watch my other videos on editing, landscape photography editing. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you, and see you.